Hello, this is Mr. Painter with another fabulous IXL tutorial. Today we're working on O8. Find the missing angles in a triangle using ratios. So remember, our today's key concept is going to be the measures of angles of a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. So a triangle has three sides as well as three vertices. In case you didn't already know, a vertice is an angle of a triangle. So we're going to use the word vertice instead of an angle today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and we know that one measure of an angle is 80 degrees. The other two angles are a ratio of 2 to 3. What are the measures of the other two angles? All right, so we know our first angle is 80 degrees. So we're going to call it 80 plus 2 times something, whatever that angle might be, plus the last angle of 3 times something. And remember, all three angles must give you 180 degrees. All right. First step is we're going to combine like terms. Notice we can combine the 2n plus 3n to give you a total of 5n. 80, no touchy, just leave it alone. That comes down, so it's 80 plus 5n equals 180. All right, next step. What we're going to do is we're going to take 80, subtract 80 from both sides because we're going to try to isolate n by itself. So minus 80, minus 80. So now we get 80's canceled out. 5n equals 180 minus 80 is 100 even. And now what we're going to do is we're going to divide 5 from both sides to figure out our value of n. So this is like at a one-step equation. So here we go. Divide 5, divide 5. 5's cancel out. N equals 100 divided 5 is 20. Now notice that 20 is not the missing angle or both the missing angles. 20 is the ratio aspect that we're going to use to figure out the last two missing angles. Okay, so remember our ratio up here, if an angle is 2 to 3. Okay, and that came from here. So which means we're going to take 2 times n, and n is 20. So 2 times 20 equals 2 times 20, looks like 40 to me. So we got 40. And for the 3, we have 3 times n. So 3 times n, and n is equal to 20 again, because n is always 20. That's what we figured out to be. 3 times 20 is going to be equal to 60. So our three angles are 40, 60, and 80 degrees. Now, you know you got it correct when you can add them all up and they add up to 180 degrees. So here we go on the calculator. We got the calculator open to the right side. We're going to do 40 plus 60. And again, this is just a check. Plus 80. Hopefully it's 180 degrees. And it is, so we know we got it right. And because we're looking for the 40 and the 60, those are the two numbers that we're going to go ahead and place into our missing values. So 40 is the missing one of the angles, and 60 is the other missing angle. And we're going to go ahead and submit it right there. All right, we got our next problem. A triangle has an angle that measures 30 degrees, and the other two angles are in a ratio of 2 to 13. What are the other measures of those two angles? All right, so same concept. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 30 plus 2n plus 13n equals 180 degrees. All right, now that kind of looks like a 6, so what I want to do is I just want to make a quick adjustment. So we're going to make it look like a 0 here. All right. All right, first step, combine like terms. Let's take our 2 and 13, put them together. So 2 plus 13 equals 15n. And we're going to go ahead and bring down 30 as well. Equals 180. And let's see. In order to get n by itself, we're going to go ahead and subtract 30 from both sides. So minus 30, minus 30. And 30's cancel out. Therefore, we got 15 times something gives you 180 minus 30 is 150. All right, what makes this really nice is they are a 10 base. What I mean by that is when you divide 15 on one side, divide 15 on the other side, you're going to get n equals 10 because 150 divide 15 is going to be 10. Okay, that's our ratio aspect. So remember our ratio is 2 to 13. So starting with the 2, it's 2 times n. And 2 times n is 2 times 10 because n is 10 to give us 20 for one missing angle. And 13 times 10 is our second angle. And 13 times 10 is going to be 130. So now what we need to do is check and make sure that 20, 130, and 30 all add up to 180. Because if they don't, we did something wrong. So the goal of this check so we don't get it wrong. So we're going to use the calculator. So we have 20 plus 130 plus another 30 takes us to 180. So this one is perfect. So our two missing angles are going to be 20 and 130. And we're going to go ahead and submit that. All right, we got ourselves another problem. Here we go. A triangle has an angle that measures 55 degrees. The other two angles are in a ratio of 12 to 13. What are the measures of those two angles? All right, another fabulous problem. Here we go. We got 55 degrees for one triangle plus a ratio of 12 on another angle plus our last vertice. Remember, there's three of these all together because there's three vertices to a triangle plus 13 in to give us a total of 180 degrees. So remember, we're looking for the number of degrees in a triangle. All right, here we go. 55 looks good. How about combining 12 and 13 together? 12 plus 13 is going to give us 25 in. And the 55, leave it alone. Looks good. And the 25 in is positive. So I'm just going to bring it on down, leave it the same. And 180 is still our total number of degrees. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 55 from both sides. So minus 55, minus 55. And we have 55 eliminate. 25 comes down equals 180 minus 55. It's looking a little bit larger. So what if I just do 180? Use the calculator. Minus 55 is 125 less. So we got 125. 125. All right, last step is get n by itself by isolating it. So we're going to isolate it by dividing both sides by 25. Divide 25. Divide 25. Therefore, n is equal to 125 divide 25. Well, I know there's 4 quarters and $1, but $1.25 is going to be a total of 5. So n equals 5. All right. Now what we got to do is we got to take our aspect ratio and see how it works. So here we go. We got a 12n. And so therefore it's 12 times 5. And 12 times 5, I believe, is 60. And 13n, which means 13 times 5. And 13 times 5, here we go, clear out the calculator. 13 times 5 is equal to 65. So we're going to go ahead and put down 65 here. So our two missing angles are 60 and 65, along with 55. All three of those circled angles should equal 280, because if they don't, we did something wrong. So we got 60 plus 65 plus 55 equals 180. And we got it right. So here we go. We're going to go into our boxes here. 60 is one angle, and 65 is the other angle. And we're going to go ahead and submit it. All right, we're doing really, really good. 4 questions. We're already at 50. This is amazing. We're off to a great start. No questions wrong so far because we're taking our time being careful. And we're just going to keep up with the same concept. So a triangle has an angle that measures 95 degrees. The other two angles are in a ratio of 7 to 10. What are the measures of these two angles? So we got 95 plus 7n plus 10n equals, let's see, do you remember the number of degrees in a triangle? That's right, it's 180 degrees in a triangle altogether. All right, 95 looks good. Plus, what we can do is we can combine our two angle values. 7n plus 10n is 70n. Yeah, right. It's 17. So we're just going to make an adjustment there. Man, I was thinking multiply, but you want to be careful. So 17n equals 180 degrees. All right. Next up, we're going to go 95 and subtract it from both sides. So minus 95 minus 95. 95's eliminate. So therefore, 17n comes down equals 180 minus 95. That's a good one. Takes us to a total of 85. Ooh. Now, I'm not hoping for a decimal, so I'm looking for a whole number. So I'm hoping that 85 divides 17, it kind of looks like 5. That's what I'm hoping for. So 85 divide 17. Whew, it's 5. That's good. If you get a decimal, something's probably wrong. These should be whole numbers. All right, so let's show this last step. Divide 17. Divide 17. N equals 5. Okay. We're good there. Knock out the ratio. We can do it over here. It's fine. So we have 7n, which means 7 times 5, because n is equal to 5. 7 times 5 is 35. And we can do the 10 right here. So we got 10n. And 10 times 5 is 50. So our two missing angles is 35 and 50. But I'm going to do a final check to make sure that everything looks good. All right. Calculator, we're going to plug in all three. So the angle that they gave us was the 95. Plus one angle I found was 50. Plus the other angle I found was 35. It works out really nice to 180. So we know this one's good. So here we go. We're going to plug in 50 and 35. All right, clear the screen. Here we go. All right, next problem. At one angle of a triangle measures 70 degrees. The other two angles are in a ratio of 3 to 8. What are the measures of those two angles? Okay, here we go. We got 70 plus 3n plus 8n equals 180 degrees. All right, first step, bring down the 70. 70 is good. I do want to combine like terms. So combining like terms means we're going to take our 3 and the 8. 3 plus 8 is 11n. So we got 11n equals 180 degrees. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take 70 and subtract that from both sides. So subtract 70 there, minus 70 there. So 70s are going to cancel out. Therefore, we got 11n equals 180 minus 70 is 110. That's excellent because that's a 10 base, right? So 11 times what gives you 110? You guessed it, 10, right? So divide 11 both sides. N equals 10. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ratios of 3 to 8. We can start with the first one. We got 3n. 3 times 10 takes us to 30. And our ratio of 8n is 8 multiply 10. And 8 times 10 is going to be 80. So our three angles are 30, 80, and 70. So what I want to do is I want to check this out in the calculator and make sure it is correct. So we got 70 plus 30 plus 80. And that takes us to 180. So we know we are absolutely correct on this one. So that's good. So we got 30 and 80. And go ahead and submit it. We're at 68 points. Doing real good. All right. Next up, we got one angle of a triangle measures 10 degrees. Ooh, small little angle there. The other two angles are at a ratio of 7 to 10. What are the measures of the other two angles? So same concept. We're just going to keep on going right along. So we got 10 degrees plus 7n plus 10n equals 180 degrees. Because 180 degrees in a triangle. Okay, first step is we're going to combine like terms, which are going to be the n, so the 10 stays the same. And 7 plus 10 is 17n equals 180. And subtract 10 for both sides, so minus 10. Oh, yeah, we got an 18 in there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to subtract a 10 instead of an 18. So yes, subtract 10 and minus 10 here. So 10s cancel out. We have 17n equals 180 minus 10 is 170. And 17s divide, and n equals 10. I like multiplying by 10. Just makes things so easy and nice at the end. All right, a ratio. We got 7 to 10, so let's start with the 7. So it's 7n, which means 7 times 10. And 7 times 10 is 70. There's one angle there. And our other ratio of that 10 is 10n. And 10 times 10 is 100. So let's check 70, 10, and 100. Yeah, so that works out, right? So we got 10 plus 70 is 80, and 80 plus 100 is 180. So we know this one's good. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and plug that in. So I got 70 and 100. And we're going to go ahead and submit that. Nice. Okay, cross our fingers. This might be our last one. It might not. We never know. But we're doing so well, it wouldn't matter anyways if we did an extra one. All right, here we go. We have 85 plus 7n plus 12n equals 180 degrees. Why? Because 180 degrees is the number of degrees in a triangle. All right, 85 comes down, looks good to me. We're going to combine like terms. 7n plus 12n is going to take us to 7 plus 12 is 19. So plus 19n equals 180. We're going to subtract 85 from both sides. And it looks like the answer come out 5. You do enough of these, you can just like see, because what happens, right? 180 minus 85 is going to be 95. 95 divided 19. It could be 5, right? But let's go ahead and finish it though. So minus 85. 85s cancel out. We got 19n equals 95. And divide 19 from both sides. Divide 19. Divide 19. Equals 95 divided 19 is a total of 5. And take our ratios. We got 7n. Okay, where did 7 come from? Okay, we got 7 right here. So that's 7 times n, which is 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. There is one angle right there. The other ratio of 12 is going to be 12n. And you have 12 times 5. Ooh, 12 times 5. Last time I checked it was 60. So is it true that 35 plus 60 plus 85 equals 180? That one I'm going to check using the calculator. This one's a little bit larger. 35 plus 60 plus 85. Still works. Nice. All right. We got 35 and 60. Go ahead and submit it. Yeah, 82. All right, this completes your IXL O.8. Find the missing angles in triangles using ratios.